Hello everyone. Teresa with Critters Crochet. Today is Wednesday. It is the third Wednesday of July, and I'm so excited because I get to reveal my project that I made using the tall alternate stitch. Ta-da! This is it right here. It is the I'm not sure what I'm calling it. It's just the drawstring bag. Um, so not really sure what I'm calling it yet. If you guys can think of a fun name for it, perfect. But what's on the inside? Let me show you. It's just a container that had, and I want to make sure I'm not showing anything, but it's just a container that had my dishwashing pods in it. And that's it. And then I crocheted around it for the bag. This way, now the you can tell how tight the tall alternate stitch is, so you really don't have to line a bag if you make a bag with this, but you absolutely don't need to line the bag if you use some kind of a container like this and put it inside it. Okay, so for the tutorial today, let me slide this back in here, and you could use this. You wouldn't even have to get a container if you just wanted to make this bag. You could do it without a container and just make the bag and make a drawstring bag. It's this pattern is very adjustable to whatever container you use. But like I said, you don't even have to use a container. You can follow the directions and just make a bag, whatever size you want, without anything inside it. It'll still work. But I put the container, and I think this makes it great for if I want to take a small project. And this one has a lid on it. I could probably just take this lid completely off and not even have the lid, but it's just extra protection for whatever's in here to keep anything from coming out. So either way is fine. But you put your container in there and you close it up. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I made this one, but I'm going to show you on a much smaller scale. You'll still be able to adjust it. This will show you how you can adjust it to whatever size container. So what I'm using is just this little plastic container that I had, and I'm going to show you how to adapt it to whatever size. Come on over to the table. You're going to need your yarn. You can use any weight yarn you want. Just choose the hook that works best with the yarn that you're using. I'm going to be using a 4-weight yarn, and I'm going to be using my 6mm Fire watermelon hook. So let's head over to the table and let's see how we make this drawstring bag. All right, guys, we are at the table ready to start our project. So the first thing you want to do is whichever, let me move this camera up just a little bit here. Whatever container you're using, this is what I'm using. Let me get out back. There we go. This is the container I'm using just for this demonstration. A little bit smaller scale than the other one that I used for the actual project, but that's okay. All the steps will work no matter what size container you're using. So the first thing you want to do is you want to crochet a chain that is as wide as your project or as your container. So what I did, and this has a little bit of stretch to it, so I made it just exactly the width of the container, and that way it'll have a little stretch. It's going to be okay. I'm using a Karen 1-pound baby 4-weight yarn, and so that's going to give some stretch, and your container will fit in there snugly. I think that's a good word. So for the tall alternate stitch, you have to chain an odd number of chains and then add one more. So my chain is 24 chains. Yours is going to depend on the length of your container if you're using a container. So if you're not using a container, then you just chain a chain of odd number of stitches to the width that you want your bag to be, and add one more chain. So we've done that. So on the first row, and if you need to go back to my Battle of the Stitches, go back to my Battle of the Stitches playlist where I show you how to do the alternate stitch, but we're just going to do a really quick showing of this with the base of this container. So what we're going to do first is we're going to skip the first chain, and in the second chain we're going to place a single crochet, and then we're just going to single crochet all the way down the length of our chain. You insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, single crochet. So we're just going to single crochet down the length of the chain, and I will meet you at the end when I get all my singles made. Alright guys, that was row one, sorry, of single crochets. Finish that. So we're going to chain one and turn our work. So row two, now rows 2, 3, and 4 are going to be your repeat rows. So for row 2, we are going to put let me get my book here and make sure I'm telling this right, because I just drew a blank here for a second. Yes, we are going to put a single crochet in the first single. So single crochet in the first single. And then in the second, then the next stitch, we're going to do the extended. Okay, so in the next stitch, we go in just like we're going to do, sorry about that, I had to look. Go through just like you're going to do a single, but then instead of pulling through both loops, we're going to yarn over and pull through just one. Then yarn over and pull through 2. You're just doing an extra pull through. And then we're just going to repeat that down the length of this project. Single, and then do your extended single. Yarn over, pull through just 1 loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Alright? So we're going to do single and extended all the way across. Single and then extended. And does that not drive you nuts? Look at that right in the middle of my... Anyway, I will make that work, but you just want to continue. Extended, single, extended, single, extended, single, all the way down the length of your chain, and you want to be sure that you're ending with 1 single crochet in the last stitch, and I'll meet you up at the end of this row. Okay guys, I'm at the end of row 2. I've done my single and my extended crochets. I just finished my last extended and I have 1 stitch left. And so remember, your last stitch should be a single crochet on row 2. You start with a single and you end with a single crochet on round 2. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So for row, I keep saying round, I'm sorry. So for row 3, we're just going to do okay, yeah. For row 3, it's just a row of single crochets. So we're just going to start in that first stitch, and we're just going to make single crochets all the way across this row. And I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do this. Single crochets all the way across. Remember, you can use any size yarn you would like. Just adjust your hook for that yarn size. If you want this, I'm using a 6mm, but if you want your stitches to be a little bit tighter, you can go down to a 5 or maybe a 4.5. But if you're using a worsted weight yarn, and there's that crazy knot that they put in that stitch, I cannot believe, just that drives me crazy. But when this is finished, I will weave all that in and cut it off, so it's okay. We'll make it work. So I'm getting down to the end. All right, and we're going to chain 1 and turn. So row 3, excuse me, That was row 3. Row 4 is a little different. With row 2, we did one single and extended. Single, extended, single, extended. With row, with row 2, we did single, then extended, then single, then extended. With row 4, you're going to do, instead of one single at the beginning, you're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2 single crochets, and then do your extended crochet, repeat. So extended, single, okay, extended, single. All right, so again, row 1 or row 2, you did one single, then extended, single, extended. A row of single crochets for row 3, then row 4 you start off with 2 single crochets. One single, then start extended, single, extended, single. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing my extended and single crochets, and I will meet you at the end of this row. All right, so we started with, on row 4, we started with 2 singles, so we need to end with 2 singles. So you'll do your 2 singles, then extended, single, extended, single, extended, single, until you get to, you should have placed an extended crochet and have 2 stitches left. So at the end, because you started with 2 singles, you're going to end with 2 singles. 1, 2. All right? And then you're going to chain 1, and row 5 is just a row of single crochet. Okay? So your row 3 and row 5 are just single crochets. Okay? Your row 2 and row 4 are your extended crochet rows. So while I'm doing this, let me show you. You do on your chain, you do your beginning chain, and then you do a row of single crochets. All right? Oh, I got a hair in there. You do a row of single crochets. Then you start row 2, and that starts your repeat. You're going to repeat rows 2 and through 5. So row 2, you start off with a single, then the next stitch is an extended. Single, extended, single, extended, all the way across, and end with a single crochet. Row 3, you do a row of single crochets. Chain 1 and a row of single crochets. Row 4, you start off with a single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then you start your repeat of extended, single, extended, single, extended, single, and you repeat that till you get 2 stitches left, and you will have an extended crochet for your last stitch, and then you'll put 2 singles at the end. And then row 5 is just a row of single crochets. So that's what your stitch is going to look like, your piece is going to look like after your 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to take your repeat. Once you've done your first section of those, you're going to put your piece on your project. Let me zoom this out. Whoop, wrong way, Teresa. And put this on here. So you want it to be the length of your base of your, if you're doing a container, you want this to be the width of your container base, or if you're not using a container, just make it the width that you want for your basket. I can see, well, I need to have it right here, so it looks to me like I'm going to need to repeat this one more time. So you just repeat rows 2 through 5 until you get the size of the base of your container, making sure that you end on a single crochet row. You may not have to go through 2 through 5 to get your width, but just make sure that you end on one of the single crochet rows, and I'll be back when I have finished this repeat and have it the size of my base. All right, guys, I have my base the size that I want it. It fits perfectly on the base of my container. Your repeats will be determined by how big your base is and how big of the base you want on your bag. Just making sure, like I said before, to finish on a single crochet row. So now I'm going to start on my short side, and we're going to build this. Let me zoom. Oh, wrong way. Let me zoom back here. We're going to build this up until our side is the height of our container, okay? So what we're going to do that is let me zoom back in here. We are going to chain 1 and just turn our work so we're at the side, and we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each row going down the short side. But remember, it needs to be an odd number of stitches. So if you need to squeeze an extra stitch in here, go ahead. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I get to the middle, I'm going to put an extra single in there just so I have an odd number of stitches. You need that odd number or your tall alternate stitch pattern's not going to work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll probably put 2 right here. 5, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be right in the middle. 6, get some more yarn here. 7, 8, 9, 10, whoops, 11. Okay, and just go like I did. You want to just count your rows. If you have an odd number of rows, then you're good. You don't need to squeeze in an extra stitch. But if you ended up with an even number of rows, you're going to need to squeeze an extra stitch in there somewhere so that you get an odd number of single crochets down this side. And then it's all a matter of just repeating rows 2 through 4 again until you get to the height that you want your side. And that is just single, alternate, or extended, single, extended, single, extended, all the way across. Then a row of single crochets for row 3, row 4, 2 singles, then extended, single, ending with 2 singles, and another row of single crochets for row 5. And just repeat 2 through 5 until, let me zoom back out of here. Just repeat rows 2 through, just repeat rows. This is row 1, so you're just going to repeat rows 2 through 5 until your piece is as tall as your container. Okay, and I'll be back when I repeat those rows and I'll show you what that side panel looks like. All right, everyone, I have finished the panels on all 4 sides, and this is what it's going to look like. And so now we're going to bring the ends up and we are going to seam these sides together. So take your short side, and what I did is I just, the very last stitch I made, when I fastened off, I just cut a long piece to start my first part of the stitching. So we're going to bring these corners up like this. We're going to match it up. And for me, I liked having a little bit of texture on the side, so I have decided I'm starting here and I'm just going to do a whip stitch. That's where you just keep coming around to the front side and just go round and round. Insert your hook from the front side. Whoop, you got to make sure your yarn comes around with you. But you just whip stitch around. Now you can join let me bring this a little bit closer. You can join your edges any way you like. It does not matter. And I'm not real particular about going into every single stitch. I'm just getting the needle close to where I came out the first time or the time before. And I'm just whip stitching around like this. So that's what you want to do for all 4 corners, is just do a real quick whip stitch, fasten off, weave in your ends, and I don't know why I still have my counter on my finger. I use this counter to keep track of which row I'm on because rows 2 and 4 are different. So, and sometimes I'll get to the single crochet row and I'll go, oh, wait a minute. Am I ready for the 4th row repeat or the 2nd row? So I just keep my counter going 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, so I can keep up, or 2, 3, 4, 5, so I can keep up with which row I'm on. So that helps me to remember which row I'm on, which repeat I'm getting ready to do. Okay, guy, get in there. There we go. So you want to do this all the way to the edge, and when you get to that bottom corner, I do a couple of stitches in the corner, and on that last one I bring my needle around and I go through and just pull that tight to make a knot. And then see how it just gives kind of like a little bumpy edge. You can do your join, like I said, any way you want. Then just bring it to the inside and go through a couple of stitches back and forth, and just in different directions, you know. Make sure you're staying on that top. Make sure you're not going all the way through, but stay on that top layer, and just back and forth and weave those in. Trim that off, and then you can go to your next one, and you just turn this around, go to your next side, and you're going to do that all the way around until you have all 4 corners joined, just like this. Let me bring this back out. You just want to bring all your edges up and sew them together until you get all 4 of those sewn, like this one. And I will be right back when I get all 4 of these corners sewn together. Okay guys, so I seamed up my sides, and yeah, I didn't think about it being rounded. If it was more square, it would have been okay. But you know what? With the top that we're going to do on this, it's going to work, and it's going to be fine. And I can always take this out and just use it as it is, like this. I don't have to have the insert put in. So let's go ahead and let's get started with the next part of this bag. And what we're going to do for this next part to finish up the top, which is like this one, which is all the granny stitches that go around to the top. What we're going to do, excuse me, I'm so sorry, I've got something tickling my throat that just will not let up. So what we're going to do on this is yeah, I was thinking, I had to think for a second. I couldn't remember. I was thinking I had single crocheted around, but we don't need to, because we've got some good stitches going around here from the single crochets of the last round of our repeat. So we don't need to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in one of the corners right here, and we're going to start making our 3 double crochet clusters that go around. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start, here's my corner, here's where I stitched up the side. So I'm going to go to the stitch that's right here beside that corner, and I'm going to go in, and instead of doing a chain 3, what I like to do is called a stacked single crochet, or an alternative stacked single, you can call it, or alternative turning chain, ATC in some patterns is how they name it. But what you do is you make a single crochet, so that would be 1 stitch, that's like just a single. But for a chain 3, we're going to do this 2 more times. So I go into, you see you have the two stitches right here for your single. Go on the one on the left and insert your hook, bring up a loop, and finish it like another single. That's 2. Then do another one into that loop on the left side. Come on, get in there. Oh, come on. Quit fussing with me. On the left side, yarn over, and then go through both. That is a stacked single or alternative turning chain, and it just makes a nicer, neater edge than and it doesn't leave you with a big bulky gap when you do your next double. So we've got, this counts as our first double crochet, so we're going to do 2 more into that same stitch. So 2 more doubles, 1, whoop, I almost did a chain, 2. All right, now we're not going to do a chain after this. Let me check back on my notes and make sure. No, sorry, we are going to chain 1. I was thinking I didn't chain on these, but I did. Chain 1, we're going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches. So skip 1, 2, 3, and in that fourth stitch, 3 more doubles. 1, 2, 3. Up. Chain 1. Okay, so that's your repeat all the way around the outside of this bag. Skip 3. In the fourth one, 3 doubles and chain 1. Skip 3, and in the fourth chain, fourth stitch, 3 doubles and chain 1. Do that all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the beginning of the round on the top of this basket. All right, so I've done my 3 double chain 1, skip 3, 3 double chain 1, skip 3, all the way around. And I am at the end. So what I'm going to do is at the top of this alternative turning chain, I'm going to go right into the top of that stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch to it. Okay, so now we're going to just do this all the way around. I'm going to slip stitch. We're right here. I'm going to slip stitch to get to that next chain 1 space. Slip stitch 1, 2, and then third one into that space so I can get myself over here. So then I want to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, chain 1. So now all we're going to do is you're going to do your 3 in that chain 1 space, make your 3 double crochet cluster, chain 1, skip over and just do 3 double crochets in each chain 1 space with a chain 1, 3 double crochets in this space, chain 1, 3 double crochets in this space, chain 1. Do that in every space around, and when you get back to the beginning, just slip stitch into the top of your chain 3, and you can continue this. You can continue doing this in the round. Remember to do your slip stitch when you get back around in the top of the chain 3, and then slip stitch over, and then slip stitch into that first chain 1 space and start again. And you can do as many rounds of this shell as you want for the height of your bag. So I'm going to do this off camera. I'm probably going to do about maybe 4 or 5 of these rows, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. All right, guys, we are going to start making the double crochet rows that we're going to use in order to put our drawstring through. And so we're going to do three different rows for this. So this first row, what you're going to do is chain 3. Okay, and that counts as your first double in your first stitch. We're going to make a double in the next one, a double in the next one, so that's a double on top of each double crochet in your cluster, and then 1 double inside the chain 1 space. So I want you to do double crochets all the way around, 3 doubles on top of your 3 shell stitches, and a double in the chain 1 space. Do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at this point. All right, y'all, I finished doing the spacing, and I came around, and so we've got 2. This worked out perfect. I can't believe it. Skip 2, I've chained 2, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and go into the top of that chain 3 and join this. All right. So now we're going to make 1 more row just to finish this off and make it look nice after you gather up the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another round of just double crochets. All right, so chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This counts as our double. So in the chain space, because it's a chain 2, we're going to put 2 doubles, 1. And this will just finish it off and give you a nice little ripple effect at the top when you draw your bag up. So 2 in the chain space, 1 double crochet in the top of the double. 2 double crochets, well, let me get some more yarn here. 2 double crochets in your chain space, 1, 2, and then a double crochet in the top of your double. Do that all the way around, And after you've made your 2 double crochets in this last space, go ahead and join to the top of your chain to finish that row off, and I'll be right back when we get to that point. Okay, so now that we've finished the double crochets all the way across the top, we want to make 2 chains for our drawstring. And the way I do my chain is, for my bag it took 80 chains. So what you want to do is you want to make a chain, I folded this in half, that's about double the width of your bag. So whatever the width of your bag is, you want to make your chain twice that. So the length. So if your bag is, let's say your bag is 15 inches across one side, then you need to make your chain 30 inches long. Okay? And you're going to do 2 of those. So here's my first one. And what I do is I leave long tails on each end of the chain. And to weave these in really quickly, I just put it on my needle. Now I fold my bag in half, and here is my space at this side that's right in the middle, and I start there, and I just go in and out between these double crochets, pulling my chain through, and I do that. Whoop, about to lose my chain. I keep pulling on that and weaving this all the way around through my double crochet spaces. Okay. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. But in and out, just weave that through until you get back to the start. I'm just going to do this real quick with you. And you want to stop right here. You don't want to go back into here. That's not going to make any sense. You're not going to be able to tie it off. So you're going to have that 1 bar left. All right. So we're just going to, what I do is I find both ends and I get them even. And I just hold on to my bag. Let me zoom out here. I just hold on to my bag and kind of tug on those to get it even. And then what you want to do is, when you get that one in, then you want to tie. You don't want to make it like crazy tight, but you know, you want to secure these 2 ends together and just tie them off. And I usually do an extra knot there just to make sure it's good and secure. And then just trim that off. Okay, that's one. We're going to make another one. I'm going to make another chain that's 80, and instead of starting at this end, I'm going to start weaving in at this end and go around. And when I get that one weaved in, I'll come back and I'll be right back when I get that next chain made and it all weaved in, just like I did this one, but starting at the opposite end. Then I will come back when I get that all weaved in. All right, guys, I'm so excited. I have both of these in. So I will place my container on the inside of my bag. Okay, this is the height that we're getting on the bag right here. And this is how much room we have from the top of the container to the top. And then you just pull your strings, pop, and there it is. There's your drawstring bag. I hope that you love this tutorial, and I really would be so excited if you guys make one yourself. Like I said, this is so adaptable to any size container that you have. And if you don't want to do it as a container, if you don't want to make the base and then sew the 4 sides together, you can do your base and then you can just do continuous rounds, going round and round and round in continuous rounds. Just make sure you mark your first stitch with a stitch marker, but you can just go in continuous rounds instead of sewing together side panels. And if you do it that way, you may not want to put anything inside it. You may want to line your bag. This is so versatile. You can do just about anything with it. So I just love this little bag idea. I think it's a great idea for carrying projects, carrying snacks. This could make a really cute little lunch basket even. I just thought of that. You could put your little snacks in there if you keep the lid and close it up. And it could make a little cute little snack bag to carry some snacks around or carry your lunch in. So I hope you will make this. If you do, I would love it if you, my email will be in the description box, and I would love it if you would send me pictures of the bags that you make. I would love to see yours. So this has been the tutorial for the tall alternate stitch drawstring bag. And come back up here to the I can't even talk today. I'm going to come back on camera in just a second right after this to give you a couple of announcements, but yeah, make sure you make one of these. I would love to see it. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial today. Let me know in the comments what you think and if you think you might make one. All right, guys, I've had so much fun making these bags. I just think they're so cute. There's so many things you can do with these bags. There's just so many things you can do. Here's the original. And now I have this one. So there's so many things you can do with these bags. And again, I would love for you to try out my tutorial and let me see some pictures. Let me know how they turned out. I want to see what you make. But what we're going to do, let me get my calendar real quick and make sure I'm telling you the right day. We have today, or when you watch this today, Heather will have a poll on her channel. In her community tab, she will have a poll that lists herself, me, Lexi from Helix Stitchcraft, and Nova from Nova Gnome Creations, so that you can vote on whose project you love the best. After you've watched all 4 tutorials, go to Heather's community tab and vote for your favorite project. Also, if you want to be included in the drawing, you need to be sure after you vote to leave a comment below the poll so that we can have your name to put into the drawing. This month we have 5 Wednesdays. So, wait a minute. Am I looking at the right? Nope, I'm looking at the wrong month. I had it on August. I thought I could have sworn. Yep, we have 5 Wednesdays. So today is the 16th. So we will have, and I'll have to check with the other ladies and make sure they're good with this. And I will let you know in a later video for sure. But that means that we will have voting open for 2 weeks instead of just 1 week, since we have a 5-week month. And unless I tell you any different, our live will be Wednesday, July the 30th at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. If that's any different, I will let you know. So be staying tuned for that and get in the drawing. And what I'm going to do for my part, if my project ends up getting the most votes, that'll be awesome. I almost went back to the old way of doing this, but what we're doing, we used to, whoever's project got the most votes, that's the project you won. But you get to choose now. So if you're chosen out of all that voted, if your name is drawn, you get to choose whose project you win. And I'm going to put both of these up. So if you choose, if you're the winner and you choose my project to win, then you can choose this one or the yellow. You have a choice of which one you want. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. A lot longer tutorial than I've been having, but I really enjoyed making this and I wanted to put a lot into it. So stay tuned. Watch all 4 of our videos again, then head over to Heather's channel at Strings and Threads for the voting. Vote for your favorite and leave a comment so you can be entered in the drawing. And we will see you again on the 30th for the live. So talk to you later. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.